Let's dig a little deeper into device security. Again, we are discussing the security of the physical device, the one that we hold in our hand, talk on the phone with, close a big business deal on, and of course, play games on.
Everything that I do every day. Yeah, we've already discussed the potential of a lost device or a stolen device, but what are some other areas of concern? For example, is GPS tracking a concern to your organization for the users of these mobile devices? Now, most companies won't need to be concerned about this, but those in law enforcement, for example, or the military would probably not be comfortable utilizing a mobile device that would allow an individual to track their whereabouts, right? Obviously, and again, using a GPS signal. So today we can use applications on these cell phones that will allow us to monitor, for example, the location of our children, even our employees, if necessary. We just let our phone know that we want to enable GPS, right? Now, in most cases, monitoring the location of employees would not be a very good idea, especially since many of us value our privacy.
Correct.
Funny. Yeah. Now, an organization, however, like FedEx or UPS would gain great value in monitoring the location of the vehicles that are out on delivery. So it comes and goes on both sides.
Absolutely. So we have the ability to use screen locks and have a 3 strikes and you're out lock out on a device so that if someone is trying to break in by tracking your PIN code, password, or pattern, after they fail that 3 times, the phone or device will lock and have to be reset before it would work again. This is nice from one viewpoint. However, it also provides an easy method for implementing you guessed it, denial of service on that device. It may be a malicious hacker, or more likely a buddy is just messing around trying to cause difficulties for their friend. In either case, these lockouts that automate the wiping of a device have to have a fairly high risk associated with a device before we would make it easy for a denial of service to occur. Is just one item that should be considered.
And because these rogue applications seem to find their way onto many of our devices, we need to take a look at the possibility of controlling what applications may or may not be installed on them. So if the device is provided by the company, for example, we do have more options available to us than if we allow an individual to use their own device. Now, one of the major considerations associated with concerns around rogue applications would be this idea of segmentation, the segmentation of the storage for the business when compared to personal needs. How much of it can I use for me? How much does the business need, right? Now, in many cases, there's not much we can do in order to provide full segmentation between both sides of the house, but a lot of people are thinking about it.
Absolutely. The last 4 items come together into one fluid concern. How to track the assets provided to every employee along with maintaining the proper inventory controls so that the asset numbers do not get out of control while maintaining proper monitoring over the removable storage on these devices and the general day-to-day management of these devices. There is a lot to consider with all of these components. Our intent here is to help you start making a list of those items that are necessary to create proper processes and proper guidelines for the company prior to making use of these devices. Even if your organization does not provide devices, we all know that every one of your employees uses them personally. And I would bet 10 out of 1 that they have. At minimum, set up their company email on their own personal cell phone.
I know I have.
Yeah, for sure.
So there are a lot of areas of concern, obviously, right? Some of which have security measures built into these devices and some of them that frankly don't. Now, for example, here's an example. Do you have the ability to remotely wipe a phone that has been lost? Now, very few vendors have this capability built in to the devices, and those few that do will require that you have those devices registered and set up through their online systems. Security professionals recommend that a company not allow mobile devices to be used if they cannot be remotely wiped.
Yeah, that's a good one. Most devices allow us to encrypt the data that is on it, but this also poses additional concerns concerning around performance and ease of access to the information that is needed. Carefully consider this along with the risk level before you determine whether or not you should require device encryption.
And at a minimum, you should at least be able to recommend to the user of each device a list of features that could be both enabled and disabled for security purposes. Most of your general users will never go beyond making things work for them. They are going to need to be educated on how to set those devices correctly, which will most likely involve your support.
That's correct.